All right. Good afternoon and good evening, everyone, depending on where you're at in the world right now. We're so excited that you joined us today. We are the Dream Warriors, Indigenous artists based all throughout Turtle Island. We're grateful to be able to come and share our music and poetry and gifts with you all. Hopefully, you all are doing well wherever you're at, staying safe. So before COVID, Dream Warriors, we would travel all across Turtle Island to just bring our songs and hopefully bring healing and inspiration to those in need. And we're grateful for this virtual space and place that we're still able to do that and come together. And I hope you guys get, um, the feel good vibes from what we do and just have a good, nice Sunday afternoon or evening. I'm going to drop all of our Venmo links in the chat in case anyone feels like giving some extra to some of these artists who are hustling so hard to make ends meet and to still practice their art during these times. And we're going to start off with our lovely sister, Lyla June, and I'm going to let her go ahead and introduce herself and share her gifts with you all.
Ya at shik aro shidene. What's up, my kin, my people? She nanisht eje trachi in a shlidon huskai dene bashishi ashi hidashiche belagana edashanelle. I come from the Black Charcoal Street Division of the Red Running Into Water clan of the Dene Nation. We are also incorrectly known as Navajo. And Aro Haskait ne Bashishi Ashi Hidashiche Belagana Eda Shanale. My other grandparents also carry clans that were given to me from European lineages, Cheyenne lineages, and the Salt clan of the Dene as well. So I'm really happy to be here. Taos, New Mexico, Dayton, Shan, Akwit Ego, Dene Ananishli. Originally, I was from Taos, New Mexico, and I was a poet back in the day when we used to have a bunch of poetry slams. I remember when I was 14, I went to my first Brave New Voices Poetry National Slam with the Taos High School poetry team. And I've just been doing poetry ever since, and morphed into music. So I do a lot of music. I'm also a huge nerd. So I've been studying in the university system for probably way too long. Studied anthropology at Stanford, native education at UNM, University of New Mexico, and currently PhD student at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. So I'm gonna do some poems for y'all. Really glad that you're here. This first poem is actually translating a Navajo word or a Dene word, hojon, into English. It is dawn. The sun is rising in the sky, and my grandmother and I are singing prayers to the horizon. This morning, she is teaching me the meaning of Honjon. Although there's no direct translation from Diné Bazad, the Navajo language, into English, every living being knows what Honjon means. For Honjon is every drop of rain. It is every leaf on every tree. It is your every eyelash. It is every feather on the bluebird's wing. Honjon is undeniable beauty. And my grandmother knows this well, for she speaks the same language as Lokajikai snowstorms. She speaks the language of horse hooves hitting the dirt on birthdays, for she was a midwife, and she would gallop to the women in labor until she became fluent in the language of suffering mothers, fluent in the language of joyful mothers, fluent in the language of handing a glowing newborn to its creator. Honjon is an experience, but it is not something you can experience alone, the eagles tell us, as they lock talons in the stratosphere and fall to the earth as one during courting season. Honjon is like this. It is inter beauty, and my grandmother knows this well, for she speaks the same language as the male rain, which shoots lightning boys through the sky and pummels the green corn children and huddles the horses against the cliff sides in the early afternoon. She also speaks the language of the female rain, which sends the scent of dust and sage into our holons, into our homes, and casts rainbows in the sky. Us Dene, we know what Honjon means. And each and every one of you here on this Zoom call, you know what Honjon means. And deep down inside, I believe we know what Honjon does not mean. Like the days we walk in sadness, like the days we walk in fear, like the days we live for money, or like the days when I lived for fame, like the days when the conquistadors came, when they climbed down from their horses and told us they were going to take the mountains. Now we knew this was not Honjon because we knew you could not own a mountain, but we knew we could make it Honjon once again. So we took their silver swords and we took their silver coins and we melted them with fire and buffalo hide bellows and recast them into beautiful turquoise and silver jewelry pieces and placed them around their necks. We took the silver helmets straight off of their heads and transformed it into a fearless beauty. We made jewelry. Honjon is like this, my grandmother says. It is the healing of our broken hearts. It is the healing of our broken bones. It is the healing and the prayer that will carry us through anything, through this global fear, through global warming, through anything. This morning, my grandmother is talking to me about something very important. She is teaching me that sometimes the easiest and most elegant way to defeat an army of hatred is to stand before it and sing to it. Sing to it until it falls to its knees and surrenders to you. It will do this, she says, because it will have finally found a sweeter fire than revenge, a sweeter fire even than greed. It will have found heaven. It will have found Honjon. And so my grandmother is talking to the colors of the sky at dawn, as she does every morning. And she is saying, Honjon Nahasli, Honjon Nahasli, Honjon Nahasli, Honjon Nahasli, which means beauty and joy are restored again. It is dawn, my friends. Wake up. The night is over. So thank you. That was the first one. I'm going to read two more and then I'm going to pass it to Tall Paul, who's a really good friend of mine, really wonderful person, hails from Minneapolis. He has great stuff ready for you as well. Okay, so the second song is actually called, it's actually a song poem. It's called Success. And it's really just talking about the boarding schools because, you know, my grandparents went to the boarding schools, and a lot of our grandparents and parents went to the boarding schools where they taught us every day that our native culture was worthless. And because of that, we didn't even pass on our language to our children because we didn't see a point. And now the languages are going extinct, among other things. So here we go. When I was a little girl in the schools, yeah, they had me fooled. They said your native culture, it ain't got nothing for you. And if you want success, get a gold star, be the best. So I left my culture behind and I Went to the best school I could find. When my grandmother was a little girl in the boarding schools, yeah, they had her fooled. They said that her dark skin was original sin, and if she wanted to be saved, then in Jesus' name she prays. So she left for college on a train, and she read her Bible every day. So when I have my little girl, she'll have everything she needs. She'll have a choice of who to be. She can speak her native language, and she can still love her neighbor. Love the color of her skin. See the beauty that lies within. 'Cause we remember who we are, and that supremacy was a lie from the start. So you can't cut this down. There's no stopping us now. Head held high, feet on the ground. We know who we are now and we're proud. Elder songs. We hear the sound. We hear the sound. We hear the sound. I hear the sound. Yeah, you can't cut this down. There's no stopping us now. Head held high, feet on the ground. Elder songs, we hear the sound. Thank you. And then I'll do my final one now. Indigenous people, shine your light, we are equal, yeah, yeah. I remember the days when our prayers were illegal. I remember the days when being Indian was lethal, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we had a rough past, but get ready for the sequel. Get ready for the glorious comeback of our people, yeah. Rise up, all you warriors of love, all you answers to the prayers of our ancestors from above. I could feel it in my heart, can you feel it in your blood? I could hear the seventh fire calling us to wake up. All nations rise, rise up, 'cause now's your time. We don't have to hide anymore, 'cause now's our time. With forgiveness as my bow and my prayers as my arrows, pull it back and let it go. I watch them fly like sparrows. Have hope, have hope. With compassion as my shield and faith down to my marrow, I will walk the pollen path even when it gets narrow. Yeah, yeah. Resurrect. Yes, you can bet that we've seen the single mama raising children on the res. We've seen domestic violence tear apart what we have left. We've seen the alcohol take it all and leave us dead. We've seen the children take their lives when they can't take the dread anymore. Can't take the dread anymore. No, I can't take the dread anymore. No, we can't take the dread anymore. Yes, it's a war, but we've seen it all before, and now we know we can change it, 'cause that's why we were born. We know we are the ones that we have been waiting for. Is we are the ones that grandma has been praying for. So rise up, all you warriors of love, all you answers to the prayers of our ancestors from above. I could feel it in my heart. Can you feel it in your blood? I could hear the seventh fire calling us to wake up. Oh, whoops. Pueblo hermoso, levántanse, es nuestro tiempo. No tienes que esconderte más, porque ahorita es nuestro tiempo. This next verse is in Spanish to honor all the indigenous peoples who are south of that imaginary border. that has divided a continent that was once very much connected. Mujer indígena, tú eres tan sagrada y traigas medicina de tu suelo todavía, a pesar del abuso de tu cuerpo y tu tierra. Respetamos tus ancestros y la suya cultura, hombre indígena. Tú eres honorable y yo veo la fuerza que todavía sobrevive a pesar del abuso de tu raza venerable. Yo respeto tus ritos, tus danzas, tus padres, guerreros del amor y guerreros de la paz. Sí, no vamos a escondernos más. We are warriors of love. We are warriors of peace, and we will not hide ourselves anymore. Yes, all nations rise. Rise up, cause now's your time. We don't have to hide anymore, cause now's our time. Yay. All right, great. I'm going to pass it on to Paul. And look, I'm right on time. I'm right on time. It's 5:18. Aren't you proud of me today? I'm on time this time. Okay, Paul, thank you so much for being my friend and for being with us today. This is Tall Paul. I'll let him introduce himself. Thank you.
Thank you, Miigwech, Lyla, Buju Ginawa, Paul Indigenous Kaz, Gakabi Kong and Dunjaba, Minawa, Gazaga Squadron, Maycog, and Binda Gabi, Igaz, Adush, Awasazi, and Dudain. My name is Paul. I go by Tall Paul as an artist, and I'm from Minneapolis, enrolled in the Leash Lake Band of Ojibwe, and I'm of the Bullhead clan. I'm grateful and honored to be here with you all today, and I'm just glad to be able to share my talents for this short amount of time. So this first thing I'm gonna do, it's a song called Prayers in a Song, and I wrote it for my senior project at the University of Minnesota. I wanted to make a bilingual song in my language in hip hop because I found that it was hard for me to learn the language as an adult for the first time trying to learn it. So I thought, incorporating something cool that's attractive to the youth like hip hop into the language would make it more entertaining in a way, and maybe increase interest in linguistics among the youngsters. So so it's a language revitalization contribution of mine. So here it goes. It's called Prayers in a Song. I feel the latent effects of assimilation in a city native, raised by bright lights and skyscrapers, born with dim prospects, little peace in living as a child, high-headed about the fact I wasn't wild like they called my ancestors. Imagine what it'd be to live nomadic off the land and free. Instead, I was for the feet like a furnace, cause I wasn't furnished with the language and traditional ways of my peeps. Yeah, I used to feel like I wasn't truly indigenous. Now I say me which get you money due for showing me my true roots, definitely native. Take responsibility for being educated. My people and customs originating from early phases of history. Yes, deeper than fried bread and contest powwows. Tears shed in the sweat lodge. Prayers go out to all those I've wronged and who have wronged me. Gotta treat them like family. Get you money due, we do kawashin, Jamashka Wiziyan, me Dutch Bamit, it dizzy yan, me Jishanam Zagit, Iway, when Ganu, Jishanam, Bizendow with Shanam, me Wayne Janaga Moyan, Nima Shomis, we do kawashanam, Jit, I budget too, Yanga Nishanabe, Jitwawan, me Jit Bit, you came to mind, Kaya, Nishanabe, the my dizzy win. Becoming aware of a heartbeat's fragility, so I pray for my creator's will and humility. It seems my prayer's weak, I can't speak, not a linguist. Does he hear my English when I vent? I feel the answer to the question. This is symbolic of anguish. I feel regarding language and the obligation of revitalizing something sacred. Failure to carry through is disgracing a nation. My first tongue's in need of a facelift, but deciphering conjugations like trying to find my way through a maze in the matrix. Complex, hard to start without an end aside from being fluent. I gotta push the limit if I'm gonna keep pursuing. So I use it in a way that relates to my life and vocab. Bring some entertainment to it, spit it on a track, and I take it out the class. Can't let what I lack become a self-defeating habit that'll make me wanna quit. Get your money due, we do Kawashin. Jamashka Wiziyan, me Dutch Bumit, it Dizziyan. Me just Shanam Zaget Iway when Gnu just Shanam, Bizin there with Shanam. Me Wayne Janaga Moyan. Nima Shomis, we do Kawishanam, Jit a budget too young and Nishanabe Jitwawin. Me Jit Big, get came to mind, Kaya, Nishanabe the Ma Dizzy Win. So that's called Prayers in a Song. And it's got an instrumental that backs it, and you can find a music video on YouTube. And yeah, again, that was my senior project at the U of M. So this next piece I'm gonna do is a portion of a song I did about Jim Thorpe, who was a major inspiration of mine growing up because I was a big sports head, grew up in Minnesota, followed like Chris Carter, Randy Moss, Kevin Garnett, and I wondered why there weren't any native superstar athletes on the television screen for me to look up to, and I started doing some research in the library when I was in middle school, and I found out about this guy named Jim Thorpe, who was an Olympic gold medalist. He's on many greatest of all time athlete lists, you know, Sports Center and ESPN, all that. He's a NFL Hall of Famer, Major League Baseball player. He played in the Major League Baseball. He actually was the first president of the league that became the NFL. I mean, he was even like a ballroom dance champion, kind of random, but it's just like speaks to his gifts physically as a native person. And for me, that was big because I didn't see that represented anywhere on a TV screen. So it helped me to believe in myself as a young native athlete and a young native man in general. So it's called Someone Great Who Looked Like Me. Kick back in my time machine, reminiscing everything was so promising. Siblings let me win so I would feel like I was king. Caught the piss going and then I was high as he. Who kneeled down when I've cried about the sky to me. Like God the grit, I am about my highest being. Fell in love with the sport when I was high as knees. Then I learned to Jim Thorpe and I knew I could beast. Blow up and get the paper like them Shaka peas. Go up to snag the ball on you like Moss and Flea. Show up, I'll be shown up because I've got a piece. That was the Jim Thorpe effect of my philosophy. But someone down the line, I must have lost the beat. Started going in for my feast like I forgot my teeth. Jim Thorpe isn't in the public conscious, Pete. All I'd ever see was black and white on colored screens. All I hear about is cheats, but they're all long deceased. Man, I wish I could have seen you play ball on TV. I wish that you received the same notoriety the mass media has given all these other athletes. I just needed someone great who looked like me. Jim Thorpe, you could be my Muhammad Ali. Afflicted with addiction, alcoholic like P. No submitting, both spitting up in college like G's. My focus not there, we probably both got B's. You're the star RB. I'd skip the smoke trees. When I finally got sober, I became an MC. Messing up on stage because I care what people think. I needed your influence. I don't care what people think. See, for me to feel great, man, I needed that drink. Graduated school and flushed the lick down a sink. Now I gotta be you for kids who wanna be me. And that is just a dedication to Jim Thorpe, you know, and the impact he had on me as a young Native man and still does to this day. So this last short piece I'm gonna do for y'all is from a project I did with a friend of mine who goes by the name of Tone. We have a hip hop duo called Red Poets Society. We're both Ojibwe hip hop artists, and we made this project and also this self-titled song called Make America Great. We left out the again because America has never been great for Indigenous people to begin with. So we're still trying to get to that point where America actually is great for everybody and not just, you know, white people or, you know, whoever the elites are. So we kind of did a little play off of that, you know, and we just called it Make America Great. Because as I said, it's never been great for us. And it goes like this. Can't make America great again because it never was. Founded on slavery and genocide, they some clever thugs. Grounded on burying minds in my indigenous blood. Where they erased our history and made his story up. They pledge allegiance to a symbol of colored lives. Condemn you if you kneel before a song that's oversized. Sell you a sandwich for $1, still it's overpriced. Because the diabetes and disease stays on the rise. You got a better chance of seeing presidential tweets than you do with seeing him in Puerto Rico, real belief. So many Americans are really Confederates in disguise. Couldn't pick them bottles out of a crowd because they're wearing stripes. Since they got a problem with us, they should go back home. Back to the land where sun don't shine and cows and swine roam. If they can't honor constitutions that the people wrote, I can't see improvement unless it means them leaving on a boat. You know, because they're always telling people to go back to where they came from and things like that, you know what I mean? And I mean, they've even said this kind of crazy stuff to Indigenous people, you know, so yeah, so that's my time, and I appreciate y'all giving your time to me as well. Thank you, Miigwech. And I'm gonna pass it on to my amazing sister, Tanaya Winder. She is a amazing singer, poet, author, and musician. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Paul. And awesome sets, Lyla and Paul. I'm looking forward to Dakota's as well. Again, thank you all for joining us. And again, just a reminder, if you want to tip any of the artists who have performed, I know they'd appreciate it. Their Venmos are in there. So thank you for joining us. My name is Tanaya Winder. I'm tuning in with y'all from Boulder, Colorado. I'm Duckwater, Shoshone, Pyramid Lake, Paiute, and Southern Ute. I am actually going to be sharing some poems. Going to switch up my set a little bit just because I think my Wi-Fi is a little off, but I'm going to open with this poem. It actually was just featured if you subscribe to the Academy of American Poets and you get the poem a day. This one was just published Tuesday. I'm really excited about it, and it's called Becoming a Ghost. Ask me about the time my brother ran towards the sun, arms outstretched. His shadow chased him from corner store to church where he offered himself in pieces. Ask me about the time my brother disappeared. At 16, tossed his heartstrings over telephone wire, dangling for all the res dogs to feed on. Bit by bit, the world took chunks of my brother's flesh. Ask me about the first time we drowned in history. 8 years old during communion, we ate the body of Christ with palms wide open, not expecting wine to be poured into our mouths. The bitterness buried itself in my tongue, and my brother never quite lost his thirst for blood, or vanishing for more days than a shadow could hold. Ask me if I've ever had to use bottle caps as breadcrumbs to help my brother find his way back home. He never could tell the taste between a scar and its wounding, an angel or demon. Ask me if I can still hear his exhaled prayers. I am still waiting to be found. To be found, tell me why there is nothing more holy than becoming a ghost. So this next poem I'm going to read, it's in a really cool project right now. Joy Harjo, Muskogee Creek was just named a poet laureate of the U.S. for a third term in that rarely happens, and so it's so exciting. And she's doing such good things with her time as poet laureate. The first comprehensive Native poetry anthology by Norton actually just came out in August. If you want to check that out, by Joy Harjo, Leanne Howe, and Jennifer Forrester. I was grateful to be an advisor on that project. But one of the other things Joy has done that just got announced a couple of days ago as well is she's doing a map of US living poets and Indigenous poets. I'll share that link later on, but this poem is included in that and I'm really excited. It's called Like Any Good Indian Woman. I pull my brothers from words, stupid engines shot like bullets. When people ask why my brothers hated school, I say, the spirit remembers what it's like to be left behind when America took children from homes, displaced families with rupture, ripping a child's hand from a mother's to put them in boarding school buildings. My brothers are mourning a loss they try to fix in finding home in another person. So they travel from reservation to city singing blues and 49 songs about love. I pull my brothers from cars named after Indians, Navajo, Cherokee, and Tacoma. On a danger-destined road, my brothers are born longing for a way back from relocation and long walks across miles and miles and miles of removal. My brothers search for themselves in unhealthy addictions disguised as makeshift bandages. I pull my brothers from bottles they think answers might be hidden at the bottom of. My brothers stumble through back alleys looking for a love and laughter that was stolen from them like the land. And when their brown bodies try to find healing and love, other brown bodies cringe at their touch because like any good Indian woman, our bodies are connected to an earth still being raped by the pipelines forcibly laid down inside all that we hold sacred. And my brothers hold onto their colonial emotional baggage so tightly they think it's gravity. So I pull my brothers from oceans, believing they deserve the hurt so much they nearly drown themselves in it. And sometimes my brothers knife ancestral grieving onto their wrists, slits to remember the only time we are ever red-skinned is when blood flows from the open wounds America knifed onto our brown skin. Self-love, apply pressure. I pull my brothers from ashes. America tried to burn us, not knowing we were already flame. And these will be the stories I tell my grandchildren when one day they ask me why being a good Indian woman means we repeatedly burn like phoenix, repeatedly pulling our brothers. And so this last poem I'll share is coming from my forthcoming collection. I have a first book. It's actually getting republished if you want to pre-order. It's called Words Like Love through the University of New Mexico Press, but I'm currently working on my next book called When Stars Fall from the Sky. And it's supposed to be about interviewing my grandma about her life and trying to write about some of those things and just imagining what it was like to grow up with that boarding school experience and how that concept of love is passed down and how love can endure. And so one of the poems from that collection is this one. It's called Teach Me How to Pray. My brother wants to learn to smudge. Says he spent too many years twiddling thumbs. Grandmother used to do this between hymns, her right sun rotating around her left moon, the universe resting in grandmother's folded hands. Sometimes she would switch directions and planets would reverse their orbit. Time shifted to my brother coughing black rivers, the dry heave of grief kneeling in church begging for forgiveness or another demon. He's waiting for someone to ride shotgun to the corner store where his friends gather like a congregation, waiting to hear more stories. Like me, grandmother's favorite part of church was singing. She doesn't like to remember what happened back then when you prayed in your own language, how to this day scriptures still sting as the words skip from throat to tongue. But she teaches us. Medicine floods in rivers, lost prayers overflowing like a song. You hum so as not to forget. You sing to remember, never hold your breath. So thank you all. That is my set. And now I'm going to hand it off to Dakota.
Hoi, hafa edai, guahusi Dakota, um, hafa edai, menyet luta, migai mo asi nu, ni mengai gi hit, wini mogi, yini na inetnun, Pakgu semasa gadzut giza itanu dokops, badi itanu duamesh, i sensun ni mafana and Seattle, zen guao, yinin logwas, logwas i tano and siha ni mafana and logwas i itanu sia ni mafana itana on sia ni mafana and I Islas Marianas, Somorodzo, Zemaktadzo. Greetings, my relatives. My name is Dakota. I am Matao from the islands of Logwas, which is also momentarily known as the Marianas. My family is from the island of Guahan, which is the correct pronunciation of Guam. They're telling me to turn up, so I'm turning my volume up. Thank you, everyone. Okay, hopefully that's better. I live in Dokolpsha Duwamish territory, and I'm so grateful to be able to be here in this digital space, and want to shout out to everyone that's here listening virtually. And I am going to share some of my music and some of my words, which are inspired by my ancestors, my ancestral knowledge, my ancestral knowing, and is also inspired and informed by the Black community of Seattle, of the Central District and the South End, that taught me about what it means to be an Indigenous person here on this planet, and how to be a good relative, and through the beautiful medicine of hip hop, helped me connect even deeper to my ancestors and to my indigeneity. And the first track that I'm going to share with you today is is part of a project called Mali'i, and it is it is a form of an untraditional Micronesian navigation chant. It's in honoring of my ancestral lineages and of the creative and cultural lineages that have made me who I am today. So um, here we go. Na 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 Palawanitan, inananlinat la ihinagunitan, hagen fortna, ekulukini, ekuluki sinanananhu, itap natahu, ilanitasi, tatani, sakmani, pafanogunilinala layitasi, lahin pontan, ekulukini, ekunuki linai laihu, fan ekunuki famaguun midzo, ihagahu, yin and hod, Edgahu, yin and hod, I hopped in my canoa as I flowered through the streams, modeling how me's anthroposado sows seeds. Woe is me for finding out the foe of me is the nature of creator who's craving to vocally express poetry. Hopefully I'll find my lifeline inside the time I write rhymes while blood's pulsing through my drum beat. There's one thing above nothing. There's nobody that I won't be. Menos a nadie, yo soy nadie, homie. Luke gas past the sky, walking horizons, catwalking with Africans, Zapotecs, Crees, Jews, and Mayans. Son of a gun, I'm the son. I become one with the lions, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't Lion's Rock, lying on the tabletop because I'm of native stock. And yes, I'm made of rock, formulated in koi sand, playing somewhere the civilized cradles rock, like Papa Dante on May's lot, on Mateo to my sacred ancient thoughts, from formerly colored fairies that play with hot lava. Do not bother with the drama. My obsidian armor is harder. Creation stories, the glory of one of Pele's daughters. So I'm Mele. Hey, Hagahu, Yin and Hod, Hagahu, Hoffa Adai, Lalahids and Famalau Mata we had Gahu and I always rep the South End. Dakota es mi nombre, Tacoma is the mountain. I'm sailing in the sailish and navigating what my sound is. You know that I will own this. I was born near the Snohomish, and I swim with the fish to Swinomish to the harbors where the oats live. Ciphering in eclipse and moonlight as hidden mo closes. Ancient lyric spirits dancing in canoes upon the ocean. Tying tight song lines between coconuts and cedar trees. Creating famine, native land. Chief Seattle said we can't eat money. We deeply breathe in Temescal. Brew the sage, drink the tea. Klatu kamati miga maasi signing klalote kutli. Pontan Colonel birthed in a turtle island metropolis. Since time immemorial, this is where the Duwamish live. This place kids reclaiming our red paint and so hip hop with it. I honor it with glacial flows. I'm dropping in me. And hod, he had gahu, yin and hod, he had gahu, yin and hod, So that track was produced by one of my good friends, Micah Manaitai. You can look up Micah Manaitai's music on Spotify and places where it's all streaming, and on Bandcamp, another Macdao Chamorro artist. Um, I want to share with y'all a track that shouts out to our independence movement. Our people have been made into two different nations, the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas, as well as Guahan, and we're in the middle of our self-determination movement. And we recently had a vote where we're trying to register people to vote for our self-determination vote, which is the political process that the international government set up for people who are unincorporated territories of the United States or other colonial nations to decide what we want to do with our political futures. And there was a white American that moved to our island recently and couldn't register for that vote, and sued us and won in the courts, in the Ninth District courts. And I'm telling you this story because this is the story of my people. We say, hey, we want this to happen for us. We want to do this. We want to do this. And the U.S. federal government is saying, no, 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 no. We're not going to listen to you. We're going to find all the ways we can to oppress and suppress you. And one of the ways that they're doing that right now is that they are bulldozing our ancestral burial grounds and our sacred lands, um, and they're turning them into a firing range, and that's happening in Guahan. And they're also proposing to turn our entire island of Pagan into a training site for the military, for all the branches of the government. And we don't believe that that's necessary. We're like, hey, we actually want world peace, and the way to get to world peace is to be peaceful, not to bomb things and destroy people and train people to murder. And you know, I understand that the militarization of my homeland is connected to the militarization of Black and Brown communities here on this continent. That when we say abolish the police, we also mean abolish the militaries. When we say abolish the prisons, we mean everybody belongs in the circle. We believe in the sacredness of all life. And this is the medicine that Indigenous people have to offer to the world right now. And so it's our time to lead. We've got really great ideas. We've got brilliance in our languages and our cultures inside of ourselves. And in our cultures, everybody belongs. Everybody belongs somewhere. And we don't lock people away and send them off, to some place without relatives, right? We don't destroy the earth. And we definitely don't destroy the earth, because we believe that any life is more valuable than the other. So this is a shout out to our independence movement, to Independent Guahan, to the people who are working to defend the Northern Marianas from militarization. And it's a way to let you all know what's happening with my people. I actually wrote this song almost 10 years ago, or at least parts of the song almost 10 years ago, and we're still working on this. So please, yeah, research Prutehila Tetzen, and I'm gonna get into this track here. It's a call and response. So you can say, wake up, when you hear me say, Fak Mata. Okay. And, you can do it just at home, but we'll hear you. The earth will hear you. And that's what's important. Yeah. Yeah. Fak Mata, wake up, Fak Mata, wake up, Fak Mata, wake up, Fak Mata, be the one to save us from party to party through spiritual contact, a land being stole by businesses on contracts. Dear Americans, this is the raw fact, your morals are the number one casualty of combat. And what is it we die for? The same reason that the government lies for, money. We're poor, our vision is cloudy, so we line up to sign up for a mission to Saudi, while military hands taking cemetery lands without looking at their own third that they control. Our island disappearing, now we smashing down this road, foot on the gas fired complex at our throats. Survival depends on revival of the ancient, and our people recreating the sacred. So respect and love to my cousins, the soldiers. I just wish they were here defending our culture. Fak Mata, wake up, Fak Mata, wake up, Fak Mata. Wake up, Fak Mata, be the one to save us. Fak Mata, wake up, Fak Mata, wake up, Fak Mata, wake up, Fak Mata, be the one to save us. Fak Mata, puta ligi dentosa, itano mami imaga hoke, I had got that kumaru maneku toga, go mangai respect to itao tao toza, enough malik, respect's all we asked for, not a cash source, dying in a task force, fighting for our culture is the last war we can time travel with American passports. It's a culture that we're trying to save. They want to turn a lively place into a firing range. When sacred medicines grow in this native residence, military heads they take without hesitance. Target how, respect the Luzon. Why don't they fire their artillery on their lawn, building fancy homes on my auntie's bones, but dollar bills don't last like Laddie Stones. Wake up, Fak Mata. Wake up, Fak Mata. Wake up, Fak Mata. Be the one to save us, Fak Mata. Wake up, Fak Mata. Wake up, Fak Mata. Wake up, Fak Mata. Be the one to save us. Hafagwa italuta gihilo imen ganakta. Ifinitingas ni hintao talagus and kalaka. Samama Zuli itat lang zan mami nafak. Manaka na hit manana gadi de papak. Amon lu ifinoto hapagasi imanatas ni mampolo di itasi ni noy idwi na ha. Adigina muna mama lafa ipangata. Sa edzu hafanui hami maulak na linata ipinatit inansina. Udala kiminatlat na maat niya wi hamom lowi atomina tatnya. Huta da zuti minyote heri amot aska. Ha na ina imat malana matsat sat cotton iha ani uha fot duti upman. Ihina soto lokwi uha matu di sakman. Dini langit manu idza hulurnai malofan fat mata tauta nu ini no oga an fat mata. Wake up, fat mata. Wake up, fat mata. Wake up, fat mata. Be the one to save us, fat mata. Wake up, fat mata. Wake up, fat mata. Wake up, fat mata. Be the one to save us, fat mata. Wake up, y'all, wake up. All right, I'm going to do one last piece to close us out today. But first, I'm going to give thanks to the sacredness of water and have a sip of this warm lemon water. All life is sacred. Water is life, y'all. Okay. Well, this last track that I'm going to do for y'all is it's a part of this untraditional Micronesian navigation chant that I mentioned to you all, and it's a recitation of my cultural and creative lineages, and it's an honoring of the black communities here in the Central District and the South End. That, like I said, they taught me what it means to be an Indigenous person. Working with our ancestral creativity. That despite everything that the oppressive society has done to us and done to our peoples, we are alive. We are in touch with our ancestors, and they can speak through us. It's also a prayer for all people on the planet to wake up to the reality, to the truth that we are people of the land, that we belong to the earth, and not the other way around. So, and also this track is produced again by Micah Manaitai, and I produced the track that you just heard. So let's do this. There's all these buttons that I have to press at just the right time. It's so cute. That's Ifan the Light and Oral History Project behind me in that video. They're an oral history project I belong to. The lineage of the lines that I inscribe as I write poems transcends mind's concepts of timelines and time zones. I'm from the ancient earth crust that birthed us. The primordial is my home. I've flown around with sky gods who walk the jungle with Mother Earth on a tightrope. Made the Benny root as I pray I can understand the truth. Bid Brother Cedar teach me how to heal as I withstand abuse. And Buddha teach me how to be lonely as a bandicoot. As my family move away from homeland, the USA stole and planted nukes in. Our movement became a new trend in human history, miserably called diaspora. Another concept that can capture what we've been through. So my pen moved to trace my line back home, and I roamed through the infinite black zone. Classic rocking with my dad's homies. Praying as the star of Hawaii is navigating her jazz songs. Africa's children making melodic atlases, indigenous craftsmanship, and I practice this craft, so I honor the masters of the free flow. Odisha within the Greek, oh yeah, Telu, hip hop is that old. I fast forward to sci-fi on 20th and Jetson. Fool is the satisfaction food. Ladies first to hip hop period is every Sunday night. African hands are doing patterns on the drums that go. Can every sing to LD Ropanai is getting her snack on. You speaks truth speaking, eclipse and gentrification. Community unity's got your back, huh? Back when Setsy Beast was that ceremony and that song. Before the battle in Seattle was won by .coms. No matter the tattoo we practice, they said we fought wrong. They murder and slave, they occupy and drop bombs. We say, oh, Mateo to the way with tail and go on like Hita imanata, yihininatanu. Hita imanata, yihininatanu. Hita ifinetnana, yihininatanu. Hita ifinetnana, yihininatanu. Hita tautanu, hita tautasi, hita tautanu, hita tautasi. Hita ha, hita ho, hita imanata. manauta zininahatano hita ifinet nananata ni man matuhit no ifinet nananasag man siha Finat nyaguhit Finat nyaguhit no siha Hita Himanau tau zininahatano Hita ifinet nananata Ni man matuhit no ifinet nananasak man siha Finat nyaguhit Finat nyaguhit no siha Finat nyaguhit Finat nyaguhit no siha Iman mofo nanato tau imato ho. What you're hearing right now is the sound of that forest recorded in the 1960s that is being threatened. And it is for that reason that I offer these prayers of unity with creation. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you so much to everybody for sharing your gifts, and to all of those of you who tuned in through Zoom and on Facebook. We appreciate you all. Make sure you tip the artists if you're able to. Those are in the link, and Dakota posted those in the comments on Facebook. We will be having an encore presentation of this. This recording will be showed again on Thanksgiving if you want to tune in or rewatch or share with other people. Thank you all so much. Olivia, did you have any other announcements or things to add?
Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you. Let's hear it for the artists once more. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.